Welcome to the Art of Listening to Your Body podcast. My name is Dr. Jinong and I'm your host. I'm a cathartic release therapist, professionally trained as an osteopath, psychosomatic therapist, Western acupuncturist, and herbalist. I'm fascinated by the mind-body connection and how your physical body is a manifestation of your emotional state. I help people get unstuck from their chronic pain, whether it be physical or emotional, and live the life they truly desire, grounded in values and driven by purpose. My aim is to create awareness to the underlying emotions behind pain, injury, and disease in the body, as well as behavioural dysfunctions and mental imbalances that present. I do this using a unique blend of Eastern and Western philosophies and a good dose of intuition. Join me to learn more about the story of your body, what different issues may indicate, how to release emotions so that you can prevent problems, as well as inspiring pain story interviews. Today, I had so much fun with Pamela Chen. I don't think I stopped smiling for the whole duration of the interview. She brings me into her world of magic and energetics and how she has used this to build her own business, quantum wealth coaching, and a number of other courses that she runs with her business partner, Leeza Robertson. And also how she uses magic and energetics to help grow other people's businesses, especially those who are in the healing space and work in the spiritual realms, which I think is really inspirational because I know for a lot of people who practice in this space, there is this belief and conditioning that you cannot be wealthy, whatever that means to you, but wealthy financially as well. And Pamela really shows us otherwise. She is one of the leading experts in energetic expansion and spiritual mastery and 6- and 7-figure business ascension. We talk everything from unicorns, fairies, and mermaids to crystals and whether or not you should wash your crystals. She also talks about how to align your frequency to be able to manifest. And we talk about the energy of currency and money. So I hope you enjoy this as much as I did. Welcome to the podcast, Pamela. I feel like I'm going to learn a lot from you today around the world of energetics. I don't know where to start, to be honest. I guess usually it's always just let us know who you are and what you do.
Hi, Jen. Thanks for having me here. So I am a quantum wealth coach, and I have multiple passions that I really infuse into my business. So it's not just one thing, but it's everything. But I feel like because we are like multidimensional beings, we can have multiple passions, and it's okay. And to like break free of you can only have one thing. So I am an author and deck creator with Llewellyn Worldwide, and I am also a coach for spiritual entrepreneurs, leaders, creators, coaches, mentors, who's ready to take their business to the next level and to really like tap into their genius and work with their vibrational self for that quantum leap, like collapsing the time so that maybe your goals that you were able to reach in 5 to 10 years now comes in like 2 to 3 years. So that's what I'm really passionate about.
Oh, yeah, I love it. And also because in the world of therapy, healers, spiritual people, there's a little bit of a belief that you cannot be wealthy and you cannot make money from what you do. And some people get stuck right in the low end of, well, I've been gifted with this, so I just need to give it away for free and I need to suffer in the background. But you yourself are very successful and you help other people move into that space. So can you talk a little bit about, the journey of, I guess, the clients that you work with, the healers that you work with, and where you start with them and where you can see them grow?
Yes, so that is a huge one because most of our clients are stuck in that I can't make the money, or they just believe that they have to charge so little for their gift. And a lot of it is because they don't understand what online coaching is. And back in the day, I remember when I first started, this is like 2008, and my coach then told me that I couldn't teach magic. So for 7 years, 7 years is a long time, I was trying to do things that were not magic, and I was trying to be a coach, trying to be an online coach, and it just didn't work. I didn't get the clients. I couldn't make money, from being an entrepreneur, and it just kind of fizzled out, and I wasn't happy. So it wasn't until I found a couple of my coaches that told me that, yeah, you can do magic. You can teach magic. You can make money in magic. And so that's what me and my business partner, Leeza Robertson, we are here to share with these spiritual entrepreneurs that you can still make magic. You can still make money by sharing your magic. It's like a real thing, because the value of the healing work that you are sharing with your clients, the transformation, is so much more than that $100 session, right? Or $5,000 program. Because what if you can heal, let's just say if it is a physical pain, what if you can heal their chronic back pain? How much time would that free up for them? How much money would it save for them to go to the doctors? And that's more than $5,000, right? That's like a lifetime value. So we really do share all of that in our program. Plus, we do deep dive into the energy of money. We have them meet their money, talk to their money, thank their money, love their money, and also really figuring out what it means to them to be wealthy, because it's different for everyone. So we don't all need to be, crazy rich Asian rich, but just like if you want to maybe backpack and travel the world, like you feel really wealthy with experiences. Maybe some people do want to buy Chanel, Gucci bags, and they feel wealthy there. And it could be anything. It could be material, it could be experiences, whatever you want.
Yeah, it's that defining wealth. It doesn't always mean riches and actually loads of zeros in your bank account.
Mm-hmm. And I was just going to share, because I don't think I really answered your question, was that I've been poor. When I moved out, I was really young and I had negative $300 in my bank. I couldn't even fix the AC in my car. Like, it was pretty, I wasn't sad or depressed or anything, because I think I was still young. So I just partied it out, which I'm grateful that I learned when I was younger, So at that time, everything was negative and I wasn't money conscious. I just spent money. I didn't really know the value, the energy of money. And so I've been poor and I've been making money. I've been, making okay money, then making more money, then making more money, and now running our business. So I'd rather be here than there,
Yeah. And I'd love to dive in a little bit later into the energetic shifts that happen for you to be able to go from being the poor person to being able to, have the wealth and success and an amazing business behind you that teaches magic and energetics. Gosh, I need to find out what magic is to you as well. But can you just take us a little bit through your upbringing and, moving out of home and finding yourself negative 300 in the bank account?
Yeah, so I was born in Taiwan. We moved to Hawaii when I was around 4 or 5, and my mom had to move back to Taiwan about 3rd grade because my grandfather died, so she had to take care of business there. So I was staying with my grandmother and my auntie, which they don't really like kids, so I was just kind of like a wild child, and I just did my own stuff. And at that time, I was going to high school, and they were just going to move into town, which I can't move with them because they weren't going to drive me to school. I would have to catch an hour bus. It just didn't make sense. So I was like, hey, I'm moving out my junior year. And I moved into my friend's house, and then we miraculously got this really cheap house from her auntie, we're house sitting. So that was really lucky because Hawaii is really expensive. And I didn't go to college, and I I just worked because I was, in my mindset was, why am I paying for something when I can make money, right? Because at that time, even though there was no COVID, we were still struggling for toilet paper. It's like, wow, we got to buy our own toilet paper. Like, that's the thing. Like, you don't know until you move out, right? And so we still had really fun, because you're young, you're out. And it wasn't really until I moved to Las Vegas where I felt something was missing. So I would go to the psychics a lot. Like, I would be really into astrology, really into tarot, really into readings. I think I was trying to discover what was missing. Obviously, it was money because I came up with $2,000 and maybe 3 boxes in a suitcase. And me and my roommate, we just moved up, and we did open up a few restaurants here in the casino, which is really good. I think money got really good when I started working on my energy. So I went to a lot of, psychic development sessions. I went to take Reiki, theta healing, and I just did all of the things because I was feeling something was missing. And as I was learning that, up-leveling my energy and my mindset, I felt like my physical life got more stable.
There was something that you mentioned before we jumped on board, because your mum went back to Taiwan and you were living with family who didn't really like children.
No.
Do you think that helped you or held you back?
I think and this was a programming that I was thankful for. So one of the programmings I saw was when my mom was still with me, and we had other cousins that got dropped off to live with us. And I just remember my cousin crying every single night. And I was like, I'm going to promise myself if I ever get left, I'm not going to cry, and I'm just going to go do stuff, make things happen. And I think that's what I did. So when she did leave, I was very sad, but you get used to it. And instead I went out and I did other stuff. I went out bike riding. I went here. I went to my friend's house. I think I just kept myself very busy, and I was able to experience things, maybe because I think she's kind of strict. I don't know. But I think I was able to experience things that I might not have been able to, and learned lessons if I actually had some kind of parental control.
And do you think, were you always someone who was open to the magic and energy of things, or was it quite new for you when you moved to Vegas? And how old were you when you moved?
So I moved up here when I was 20, and I thought I could cocktail and do everything, but we can't because it's 21 here. So that was, but we still found really good jobs here. So that was good. My mom and grandma, they're Buddhist. So, Asians is very superstitious. So they're all about the energy, or pray for this, or say this magic word, say this prayer. So I've always known that there was magic and energy around. And even when we went back for my grandpa's funeral, I saw his ghost at the apartment. So it was just normal, things happen. So it wasn't oh, it's supernatural, but it was just natural for me. So I got really into astrology in high school, really into that. And just trying to not so much make myself better. I don't think I was on that self-development path yet, but just curious on how it works.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned about your grandpa's funeral, because I remember going back for my grandmother's funeral, and it was just the culture around death is so different, and the ritual around death is so different. So yeah, okay, well, take us in a little bit deeper into your journey with astrology and the psychics. What messages did you get, and how did it open your mind?
So first, when in Vegas, one day I just opened up a magazine and I saw Holistic Fair. And I was like, I have to go to this. So I went to this holistic fair by myself and I was like walking around the booth and not knowing anything, right? And then all of a sudden, my first teacher, she pulled me in. She's like this older English woman, Janet, and she said, you need to work with me. So I was like, okay, I'm a really easy sell. So I'm just like, okay, let's do it. So I took her like psychic development class, Reiki 1 and 2. And I always say like Reiki is like the energy gateway drug where it just like opens you up to everything, you know, like really it's okay if you can't feel the energy, you know, when people say like, feel the energy of the crystals, I couldn't do anything back then, you know, and it was until I learned, right? I worked that muscle. It's just like playing an instrument. So I learned and I played with that muscle and I, you know, got comfortable with it. And then like reconnecting to your spirit guides, downloading messages. And how I approached this was just like super fun. Because when you get serious, that's when like, you know, you block yourself. There's a lot of resistance. So if you ever are learning magic or the energetics, it should be a lot of fun involved. So like, oh, let me ask my spirit guide to see about this. Or, you know, so it's just, it's not so much, ooh, well, you know, that guy, I have a crush on this guy. Will he ask me out? Or, you know, like that's coming from a place of like lack, like you need it, right? But if you work in the spiritual realm as you're learning with fun, then you're more open to receive.
So what were some of the interesting things that started to drop in for you?
So I just remember that, you know, well, I did actually find my current business partner, Leeza, through all of that, through the classes here in Vegas. We actually have a pretty big spiritual community here. So there used to be like centers before online coaching, I guess. There used to be like centers. I used to go, and Leeza was one of my mentor, and she was the one that taught me tarot. She told me that I needed to go and charge for tarot because I was starting to do like readings for people, and it like came true. Like my friend, I did a reading for her on who her next, I guess, her long-term relationship was going to be. And I said the name and what he looked like. And so, and like people with babies and all of that. So like things were like coming, that confirmation is very powerful because it just like amplifies, you know, your, I guess, magical power, like it supports it. So I was getting a lot of confirmations from people. And that's when I decided, yeah, I do want to do this. Like it makes me happy. And at that time, I thought I wanted to be like a healer, like literally people lying on the table and healing them or like doing readings. But that was kind of boring for me, just like standing there. So that was not the path that I took. And I think I was like trying to find my path for the longest time, right? Like 7 to 8 years before I met Leeza. And it just kind of like organically took off.
So the tarot readings and being able to describe a name describe an appearance and drop in a name, do they just come to you? How do you see it?
Yeah, so you can hear it, you can see it in your mind, like imagine it, or you can feel it or just know it. So those are some of the things. So when you hear it, it's really your own voice talking to you. So you're like, is that me? Is that spirit? Like, it's really crazy. You're like, am I talking to myself? And if you are practicing, you just have to trust that's a message and you just share it or write it down, right? If it's for yourself, and then you can reflect back on it. So like, don't try to like analyze yourself. So it's always like you talking to yourself. Or when I say see, it means like, if you close your eyes and you imagine a purple unicorn, that's it. That's seeing, right? So you just have to be really receptive and aware of what is like flying through your mind.
So can anyone access this?
Yes, anyone can do this. Yes, anyone can do this.
So what is magic to you? How would you describe it?
So magic to me is really taking the energies or the elements around you and bringing your thoughts and your intentions into the reality. So a lot of times I like to work with spells or rituals because it's really hyper focused on that one intention, and you're using physical materials to bring your thoughts into life.
Do you come up with the spells?
Yeah, I do. I like to do other people's spells, or you just kind of elaborate on it, or I do make up a lot of my own spells for our clients. Yeah, it's really fun.
Yeah. And what about energy? How would you describe that? Or maybe there's a story behind it that you can use so that we can understand energy and energetics.
So, so we are like energy beings, right? Like our cells, our atoms, everything is energy. And this computer is energy. Your phone is made out of energy. So, in order to attract what you desire, it's all energy and vibration. So, it's like a radio wave. You know how you have to tune into a certain station to hear that music? So if you want something, you have to tune into that station to draw it in. It's like your magnet. So your energy is like the magnet, the vibration that draws it in. So when we talk about, and I think this got lost in like the new age, woo-woo stuff. So when people talk about like high vibe or low vibe, it doesn't mean if you're low vibe, you're negative or bad or anything. It just means you're vibrating at a lower level. So literally like your waves are slower. And so if you're high vibe, then you're vibrating at a faster level. And that's where all the good things are. That's where success is. That's where that $100,000 is. That's where your $1 million is. So you have to bring up your vibrational energy to the level. And that's how you manifest. That's like the easiest way. Mm-hmm.
So how do you bring your vibration up?
It's emotions and thoughts. It's easy, but people don't do it, right? It's your emotions. So you choose to think and feel, and then you feel. So there is elevated emotions, which are like joy, excitement, happiness, abundance could be one, adventurous. So we usually have one that is like ours. So yours might be happiness, mine might be abundance. So everyone is a little bit different, but you want to feel that like heart opening, like, oh, it feels so good. When people say fulfilled, that's what it means. Like you feel good. And when you have that and you have your goal, your intention, that's really specific, exactly what you want. And that'll target, and we're talking about the quantum field here. So the quantum field is any possibility, anything that you imagine is there for you. It's like right here in front of you. But again, we have to turn that frequency to it, right? So your emotion is going to be the frequency that connects to it. And it's going to draw that in. So really it's simple. You just have to feel happy all the time. You have to change that vibration. And I know we can't let our external reality, what is happening right now or what has happened in the past, determine our future. So we cannot live in the past. We can't wake up and be like, ooh, my arm hurts still because I have chronic pain, right? Then what are you feeling? You're feeling pain, you're feeling depressed, you're feeling the same thing. So guess what? Your day is going to be the same. So you have to change it.
So what happens if you get someone who is trying to just like be happy all the time, but they do have all this past stuff going on? Do you suggest that they work on that, or how do they break through that?
So working with Leeza and I, we really do work with expansion. So by the time someone comes to us, they've already probably done some deep healing work. But if they still have stuff to release, everybody has stuff to release, then we do give them our methodology, our tools for them to release it. But if you do work with us, and if we're like coaching you, then you're going to be releasing stuff every single day or every single week. So let's just say like something happens now and we're like, oh, damn. And we feel sad, we feel mad. The experience triggers an emotion and we want to acknowledge it. We honor that. We'll be like, okay, we feel like this. But what you don't want to do is claim it. So you don't want to claim it and be like, oh, yeah, I feel mad because this happened to me 10 years ago, right? You just say, okay, I'm feeling mad right now, but I'm learning how to shift out of that into neutral. Yeah. And then you have to release it immediately so it doesn't go deeper into your body, into your energy, so that you don't need those deeper healing work, if that makes sense.
And so you're also vibrationally attracting people who have already done the work.
Yes. Yes. So I know, like, shamans, a lot of shamans really work with the deep healing, and that's great. That's just not what we do.
Yeah. Can you describe tarot a little bit? So you actually create tarot decks, don't you?
Yes. So I have my self-published tarot deck, and I published one with Llewellyn Worldwide, and 2 is coming out in the future. So it's really exciting.
What are they called?
The one coming out in 2023 is Owl Tarot. So I don't know why, but nobody in the tarot community created an owl tarot yet. So, and that's just such a magical animal. So I was like, I need to do it.
So it's all owl?
It's the whole thing is owl. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. What are the other ones?
Steampunk Fairy Tarot.
Is that one? Steampunk Fairy Tarot?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
That's coming out in 2025. So,
why is it so far away?
Because she has to, I literally just got signed in March. So she needs to create 79 artwork.
Oh, okay.
So it's really the artist, and then I write the guidebook. Like, it's my idea. I give her the art description. She does the art, and then I write the guidebook.
Right. So what are the ones that are out already of yours?
So my personal one is Crystal Unicorn Tarot.
Cool. And
the one that just released this year is Witchling Academy Tarot.
Cool.
So it's really, that one's really anime. It's really fun. It's really fun. So, and they did a really good job of like making it into like a school book. It's really cute.
Yeah, right. Okay. So you need to tell me a little bit more about what tarot is.
So I think in the beginning, everybody was using tarot for divination, right? Let's read the future. What is, what's happening now? What's going to happen in the future? There's just so much more things you can do with it. You can use it for self-development. You can use it for healing. You can use it to manifest. So in almost all my spells, I use a tarot card, because you're connecting to the archetype, right? There's so much symbols in tarot. So the difference between tarot and oracle cards is that tarot has a specific system. So it's like a deck of cards. It has, the court cards, the jack, queen, king, a little bit more than one more, but it has the court cards, and it has 4 suits. So each of the suits is an element, is connected to element, and it means a different thing. So the wands are fire, right? You're usually very excited. It's about your career. It's about your passion. The cups is related to water. So that's emotions, right? You're really deep, the mysteries, the emotions. There's the pentacles, which is money, material things, or health and well-being. And what am I missing? The swords. So that's the air element. And that's all about mental things like breaking through barriers, the next glass ceiling. So and then there's the 22 major cards, which are, like the hero journey. That's kind of like how it goes. So like you in the beginning, and then you have like a story arc, and then the ending, right? Celebration, the world, graduation. So that major is like the main moments of your life, maybe where you have like big decisions or something big, and that's what's called majors. And then the minors are the suits. So that's like the day-to-day things that might happen.
Mm-hmm. I had an energy reading / healing done, and I didn't know there was a difference between tarot and oracle cards, but as you're talking about the pentacles and the swords and all that kind of stuff, it's starting to make sense. And so when someone has a tarot reading, do they pull the cards out, or actually in the online space you would be doing it for them, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think it depends on the reader. Most of the time, I know that a lot of readers don't even let the customers touch their cards. Some do let them shuffle, but some people shuffle really weird, and then it screws up your card. They like bend your cards and stuff, right? So you don't, some people don't like to give it. So I understand that. Most of the time, you just shuffle, and you can just ask the question while you're shuffling, really focus. I like to wait until one jumps out for me. Sometimes it can take a while, or people just like stop or cut it, or you can flip it. So it's really your choice.
Oh gosh, where to go from here? So you talked about the swords. So like in your owl tarot, is there going to be swords with some of your owls?
So
and cups with them?
So yeah, so so there's the ace through the 10. So ace is 1 cup. The 2 of cups is 2 cups. And, I follow the Rider-Waite system, which you can get the Rider-Waite Smith cards, which is the original artwork. And mine is called a clone. So it's not humans, but it's owls almost doing the same positions, if that makes sense. So if like one of the humans is like holding up a sword and like looking to the left, then that's what my owl, wearing a hat, that's what my owl is going to be doing.
Yeah, right. So what motivated you to create your own tarot decks? Was it there was something missing in the tarot decks that you were using, or you wanted to put your energy into it?
Actually, it was. There was no unicorn decks. For some reason, there was no unicorn tarot. So this is like 2018, I believe. And at that time, it was just like really the beginning of this magic business that I stepped into. And I was like, I need a unicorn deck. So my best friend's best friend was like, I'll do unicorns for you. And I'm like, okay. So I commissioned her to create 79 artwork. And I reached out to Leeza because she just got published. And I was like, Leeza, I need you to help me create a tarot deck. Because I tried maybe a couple years before and it was really bad because there's only 10 cards. So I'm like, okay, I need help. So Leeza, she kind of told me what is needed in a tarot card, right? And how to write the guidebook and all this stuff. How to create a legit tarot deck, I guess you can say. Anybody can create a deck. And then we just started doing it, and she's like, you need to sell it. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I like crowdfunded this, and it funded maybe like 25,000. I had good funding, and it's continuously to sell now. And so people started like messaging me, how do you create a deck? And I can't tell you in text. So I was like, hey, I'm going to create a course. And that's how our partnership began, because I'm like, Leeza, do you want to help me teach deck creation? She's like, yeah. So we started doing like a high ticket deck creation program, which we ran 2 to 3 times. And we did have good clients, except we found that the clients with the really good ideas, they didn't finish. They would just give up. And I don't like that. So I didn't want to teach it anymore.
Fair enough.
And so we just started teaching magic. And then for some reason, I was at a certification retreat, and I met all these entrepreneurs, and I was helping them with their business because I've taken so much business courses. And I helped one girl have $100,000 launch, another girl with a $400,000 launch. So Leeza was like, we need to teach business. And I was really resistant against that because I thought I wasn't good enough. I never taught business. We're only at the beginning of our business. What do I know? And so I gave in, and now that's what we teach. We teach business. Mm-hmm.
And so what aspects of business do you teach?
So I think we stand out from everyone because we're not business coaches teaching spiritual entrepreneurs, but we're spiritual entrepreneurs teaching magic, teaching spiritual entrepreneurs how to get online, how to use their energy, how to be ethical in their work. Because a lot of people and a lot of business coaches don't understand what we do. Right. And I think the most important part about what we do is the branding and the niching. Everybody is a reader. Everybody is a Reiki healer. Everybody does the same thing, astrology. So how can we pull your experiences and make you stand out from, the rest of the readers? How can we make you be the unicorn in your industry?
So there's still practicalities and strategy tied in with this?
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot of, yes. So mostly we teach organic social selling. So that is Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn sales without creating a website, without having Facebook ads, and high ticket sales. So that means you're selling within if you're just beginning, maybe $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 to $25,000 offers.
So what kind of people do you work with? What sort of therapists and healers and spiritual entrepreneurs?
Yeah, so I can share with you a few clients that we niched. So one client, Debbie, she's a herbal priestess. So she has like this lineage of herbal training. And before she was selling her programs for $30. We're like, oh my gosh, like she's so knowledgeable. She even has her own forest and all the, make her own potions. And so when it came to us, we kind of figured out what her positioning is and what her, mission, like her soul mission. And we expanded on that. And so now she has her herbal priestess certification because she is really spreading her legacy, right? And so now she charges $5,000 to $8,000 per person. Mm-hmm. And we also have, one of our VIP, she came to us. And this is where the energy comes in. She started at our lowest program and she had to rent out her horse to get the money to come in. So she had zero revenue. Within 2 months, she opened up this jewelry online business. She made $90,000. And she literally just only worked on her energy. I remember Leeza had to delete a couple of her posts because she was talking about, going down the doom spiral. And we're like, you can't do this. Mm-hmm. So I thought she was going to quit, but she didn't. She kept showing back up. She did the work. And now she's within a year of working with us, she's at 4 million net worth. And she has 3 businesses. Yeah. So she just really had to get focused and realign. We all have the magic. We all have the potential. You just have to get to it. Right?
Yeah, because there's a lot of people going, oh, well, she made 4 million. I want to do what she did and probably set up a jewelry business and all these things, but it's not in alignment, right?
You know what she did though? She listens to our replays over and over again. If someone in the group is like, where do I find this? She's like, oh, right here. She knows exactly where they are. So I know that she does the work and she did a lot of mindset work. She did a lot of detoxing. She did a lot of energy work to get to where she is at now. So it wasn't easy. It seems easy, right? But it was she really did the work.
Yeah. So this is a good thing to share with coaches and healers and actually anyone in business who feels like it's not working, but they're really doing the thing that they love is can you describe value to us? Because you were talking about, if you can heal someone's back pain, and I mean, that's the stuff that I work with, the physical pain that people have gone through. And sometimes they have spent hundreds of thousands of dollars before they come and see me and they've still got their issues. So can you help, if you're willing to share, just for people in this space wanting more, knowing that it's a process as well, but just reframing what value is, because a lot of people misinterpret it I've got to give you bucket loads of stuff and I've got to overwhelm you so that you feel like you're getting value, and then I can use that as an excuse as to why you're not actually getting the results or the success because you didn't do the things and the homework that I gave you.
Yeah. So when you step into higher sales, it's not so much about 1 hour of my time is $100. Instead, it's about the transformation that you are providing your clients. With you're probably saving them hundreds and thousands of dollars, right? By just healing, and also the time that they can go on the hikes or go on vacation, that's irreplaceable. So we really, we actually make them write out the values, because you don't really understand until you write it out, right? Wow, everything I'm saving them, psychiatrist costs, I'm saving them, right? Doctors costs, I'm saving them this. And for Leeza and I, because we do work with business and money, it's very tangible. So our mastermind course might cost $15,000. But if you're going to come in and you're going to make 4 million, it's not really worth only 15,000, right? It's your experience and what you are shifting your life into.
Yeah. So do you think that it's the intention in which people invest in themselves? If they're like, I want to get to 4 million by spending 15,000, would you say that's the wrong intention because it's your process, your journey? And
Ooh,
sometimes
so
you might not even get a financial return on it, but you get some sort of positive shift in your life.
yes, so definitely there's healing going on in our programs. I do agree with you. And I love that you brought up that intention. So actually, whenever we join a course, we're going to like, and we're committed, right? Because you're like committing, making that decision, and you're creating that reality for yourself. Like, I'm going to join this course and it's going to shift me, and either I'm going to be abundant no matter what. Like, and then you have to show up. So we actually on our enrollment calls with our students, we tell them, like, when you press that, and we just had a call yesterday, when you press that purchase button, I want you to say, this money is going to come back to me 11 times, right? And so we actually tell them, like, expect, but you have to show up. Or I mean, because we're really into energy. So sometimes if I feel it, I'm like, ooh, something's coming for you today, because you said, like, you opened up a new portal, right? Like, you up leveled by saying yes to yourself. And a lot of people don't know how to say yes to themselves. And that's why they don't invest in themselves. And we're teaching them how to do that, right? And so we had one girl, she joined us, 6,500. And in 3 days, she made $5,000. We didn't even start yet. It was just because, and then within like 30 days, she made 25,000, not even from her business. Like, we didn't even finish her business yet, but it just like came in.
Yeah. It's funny. It's the energy. That's the energetics of it, isn't it? Because sometimes like the money comes back to you in different ways, not necessarily in the way that you thought of it. And that's the really cool serendipitous stuff that happens. And I know that recently I went away and I made a very conscious decision that any money that I spent on myself to go out and eat, to buy crystals, to go and get healing done, was that I was going to be super happy about spending this money and giving it to this person. And just really viewing it as an energetic exchange. So can you talk a little bit more about the energy of currency and money and how we can look to change our mindset? And maybe for some of the people who just feel like, I'm never going to have enough money.
Yes. And, money is just like a metric, like a measurement for us to measure energy, because it's not tangible. You can't measure energy. So money is our society's way of measuring energy too. That's how I take it. So energy is money. And money is like air, like it's everywhere. Like, you can breathe it in if you believe. And I think the most important part is not to ignore money, not to not love money. And like you said, gratitude is a high vibrational. So you have to have a high vibrational relationship with money. So you have to love money. You have to tell money, like, get out your biggest bill and say, I love you, money. Thank you, money, every single day. And the more you love money, the more money is going to love you. Right? That's law of attraction. That's how it works, right? So whatever you are sending out, unconsciously or consciously, is what you will receive back. So why don't we consciously choose what we are thinking? And this isn't with anything, your affirmations, your mantras, your loving money. It's not just a thing you do 5 minutes in the morning. Like, that's not going to do anything. What happens in like the rest of the 23 hours, right, of the day? How are 55 minutes? How do you feel? What are you thinking? So this is like a consistent process that you have to really be reprogramming yourself. And it's not going to be easy in the beginning. You're like, I don't love money, but I love money. And you do it until it becomes a habit, until you don't have to think about it. You're just like, oh, I love money. I have such a good relationship with money.
Yeah. I just, I'm thinking of a few messages of people that they send to me, and it's hard for me because they go, well, I can't afford this. And I'm constantly trying to like think of programs, group courses. And I even do a lot of free stuff where it's like, hey, you're more than welcome to jump on board. But when I read that message, I'm like, oh, but I can see the potential for you if you just believed in yourself, because it's this feeling that I'm going to hand over hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. And am I going to get a result back from this? So it's like setting that expectation and wanting it to happen at the end of 6 weeks, 10 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, or a year. And what I've really shifted into, because after doing this for many years, like you getting those confirmations, just knowing that, the words and the visions that come into your mind, to trust them, and that person's going to have that relationship, is that I've seen over and over again, like you can collapse the time in that period of time when you're coaching and working with someone, but then it continues to drop in during the lifetime.
Yeah, it really does. And, and we were just talking about expectations in our class the other day on how you don't want to hook on to something, right? So you expect to sign up 50 people from this master class, this amazing webinar that you had, and you have like 10 people. And then people get, they get discouraged, right? You're like, oh, so that's the hooking onto that expectation. You want to allow miracles to happen. And the most important thing is you have to be happy where you are right now. Like, even if you're not happy, you have to be happy.
Yes.
Right. So if you're not happy, change it. You really have to change it. Right. If you want to change, you have to be persistent about that change. Right. And so you have to be happy, and you have to feel abundant where you are right now. And then you have to be open to these miracles, these opportunities, these blessings, not so much like, ooh, I need this, or, I really need this to happen for me. This is my goal, but more like, oh, I am open to what, the abundance that's coming to me. For me, the money, when I manifest, the money part kind of trips me up, actually, the numbers. So I never manifest like $50,000 months. Like, I manifest how many people I'm going to help and enroll. So I go with like the 20 clients or something. So you might just have to change up your way of thinking or manifesting if it's not working.
Yeah, like how many lives you're going to change and impact.
Yeah, and because if you come, for a lot of people, if you come from service, then you'll feel more, connected to that, instead of just like an empty, like, for a while. And we're trying to, right now we're scaling to 7 figures. And, we got serious. We're like, oh, 6 figures. Yeah. And then 7 figures, like, whoa, like this is different, different game. And for like 3 months, I was like 7 figures. And it was just not there. And it was because my 7-figure goal was empty. It was just like that number. And I didn't know what I was going to do with it.
Yeah. I was having a really interesting conversation with my husband today, and it just ties in with you saying the no matter what attitude. And I'm like, so many people struggle to invest in themselves a few $100s, thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars again, to work on themselves. Yet, no matter what, they will invest hundreds of thousands and almost millions of dollars into a house.
Right.
And they will make that happen. And they do all of this groundwork and sometimes take themselves through so much pain doing jobs that they hate to get the mortgage and to get the approval by the bank. I mean, we're probably talking about the more like high $100,000 houses rather than $1 million houses, right? But it just becomes such a mission that they're attached to, and then they make it happen. And then this kind of ties into you talking about, during the 6-figure months, and people have this goal and they forget to celebrate that they actually achieved what they desired. And very quickly they're like, oh, they realize what they're capable of. So then the goalpost, it actually does keep on moving, and you just keep on desiring more and more.
Yeah. So, it's a journey. Like, there's not that one big event, like once you hit it, it's not a big event anymore. It's like, oh, it happened, right? There's not like flashing lights, confetti everywhere. And I think we were programmed when we were little as babies, like you take that first step. Oh my gosh. Yeah. People celebrate us. So now we're thinking like everything we need to be celebrated. Right. And I think that's why some people don't feel fulfilled, because, they're still kind of stuck on that programming. So we have to release that.
So do you celebrate?
I do celebrate. So I go to shabu shabu whenever we close a client.
Yeah.
Or if I'm feeling like it's kind of like, for a while we were like restructuring, but the energy felt low because we weren't really selling, because we're like redoing everything. I was like, I need to go to shabu shabu and pretend that I sold,
I used to go out and eat, and it feels like I go in and eat 5 times a week just to like bring that feeling in.
Yeah. And one of my thing is, so one of the things we teach our student is, so what makes you feel rich right now? And one of my thing is, I feel rich drinking matcha. I don't know why, but it's green. It's like this nice green color and it's kind of expensive. I don't know, And so I feel really rich when I drink my matcha.
Yeah. So what would you say to the people who are like, I literally have no money. I need to buy my food. I need to pay my rent. How do I celebrate and bring joy into my life without going out to eat or buying something for myself?
Right. So it could be anything as doing something. So maybe when you hit your goal, you allow yourself to take a day off, like home spa, right? Doing something, or a lot of times if I achieve something, I allow myself to watch Netflix.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe it's something that you don't do until you achieve it. So you're like, yeah. And if you're in a really powerful coaching group, I would say then you share it with the group and everyone's like, yeah. And then your energy goes even up. And then it's easier to attract the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. Right. And and I understand because I've been there where you're just like, oh, like, one of my phrases, which is really bad, used to be FML, right? FUCK, my life. Like that was really bad. And I used to say that a lot because I thought my life was bad. But then it wasn't until I was like, ooh, that's not a good thing to say. Then I think things like picked up momentum for me and like better opportunities came in instead of focusing on only what I didn't have, all the negative things that are happening. And it's not your fault because we're programmed that way. Because when, back in the days, the dinosaurs, the caveman days, we were programmed to look for the negative things. What is wrong with the world? So we don't get eaten, right? What is wrong? What is not right? So that we can figure it out. But now we're living in comfort. We don't need that anymore. But I don't think we've upgraded our biology yet.
Yeah, hasn't caught up.
So we're working on it. I think, to get really into the energetics, our planet is rising in vibration and, the consciousness. And so that's why you see a lot more spiritual coaches coming out now, because there is a need for these coaches to help people.
I have a list of things that I want to talk about. I'll list them out for you and you can choose where to go. Crystals, because when I think of crystals, it is that sometimes people go and buy all of this stuff just in the hope that it's going to shift things. So I'd love you to share about crystals. I've also written down unicorns and mermaids and fairies, and manifesting as well.
Do you want me to talk about crystals since that's your first one?
Yeah, let's go in order.
So I actually have, so my book is coming out in November this year with Llewellyn, and it's Enchanted Crystal Magic. So, those crystal books, it's like a dictionary. Yeah. I mean, it's good, but I feel like I never really learn anything from them. So I was like, I need a book that works. And at the beginning of my business, which we still kind of run, my best friend from Hawaii and I, we opened up a crystal shop on Etsy.
Oh.
And Instagram, mostly Instagram. So, but I think it was really for us to go like crystal shopping.
Yeah.
So like, we're just like, oh, crystal. We don't really do as much now. We have some private clients. We have some people from Japan, and Lil Jon, the rapper, is actually our client. So we shop for them, whenever there's like a crystal show, and it's like really fun. And so crystals came, and I think the first time I realized like crystal was magic, it wasn't from like holding a crystal, feeling it, because I couldn't feel anything. I was like, what do they mean by energy, right? And so now I can feel it because practice, right? So the first time was Yayoi, which is my business partner. She gave me a citrine crystal, which is money crystal. And at that time, I was still doing readings. So I put it on my computer. And that week, I got like 10 new clients. And I was like, where did all these clients come from? And it turned out, and I was like, oh, the citrine. So it was from the citrine. And I swear I've told like my entrepreneur friends about this. And that like we were at the retreat and she did it on her computer when she got home, and instantly that night she had a $4,000 sale.
Mm-hmm.
So like, so citrine on your computer or wherever you work, right, is money in the bank. So then we're just like, wow, crystal is magic. So that's how we came about in selling our crystal, sharing the wisdom of crystal. So actually for a while, I was like the crystal expert coach, and I really learned everything, not through books or science, but from going to talk to like the dealers and, learning about all the crystals hands on. I like learning that way. And so this book kind of just like, it was like my brain dump. Like I already knew it. I didn't really have to research. So that was a really fun thing to write. And I have spells in there. So spells for love, spells for money. And like you said, it's not just the crystal, but it's really about the intention. But why crystals really work is because they naturally connect. Their vibration is from the earth, is to balance, and they naturally blend with our energy. So it can help you get to your goal faster.
Mm-hmm. I have a piece of citrine, but I also have my house feng shui. I'm going to have to talk to my feng shui lady again because she said no crystals in your office space. We have dedicated spaces where we're allowed to have things and plants.
Really?
And I have to shift everything. So I'm like, oh, I really want to get a piece of citrine.
So like, well, I don't know if they can see me, but you can see back there. That's my, so that's like my money altar. That's the big one. I have one right here. And if you're listening to this in 2021, you're supposed to have your money altar. I don't know if she told you, on the west side. So okay. I have it on my west side of the desk. I have it on my west side of the wall. So I do have pyrite. I have crystals everywhere though. So I don't know.
Yeah, so no, we've got like a wealth and prosperity room, and that's allowed to have crystals, money, plants in it, because everyone says to me, oh my gosh, you're not meant to have plants in your bedroom. It's like, it's okay. It's according to my natal chart and it's just for this year.
So specifically for you would amplify your energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, oh, that's cool. Can you give me her number?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, she's amazing. Her name's Charmaine Mitchell. I'm just going to say that on here.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. I want that too.
It's been amazing. We've done one of the clinics, and I definitely noticed shifts like when I kind of like put some final things in place, and now it is just like trusting that things are going to continue to shift.
Yeah, and I like how you go out and try things. I think that's how and I think that's your intuition leading you, and you have to say yes to it. So I know a lot of people don't like the word try, but if I love the word try. You just have to commit to it though. You have to try it and keep going. Yeah. And I mean, I tried out tarot, I tried out crystal, and it just led me, one step at a time to my business now.
Yeah. Well, it was quite fun. It was amazing how things found their place. Like some things from home went to the clinic and then back around and just kept on switching things. So yeah, everything's found a really nice place, and it feels different to me walking into the house. I really enjoy being in that space, and my bedroom without plants is amazing as well.
Oh yeah, I mean that is like super specific, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, if that's your reading, then I would go with it for sure.
Well, what I liked about it, and then we'll come back to your stuff, is that it wasn't just go on the internet and this is the grid of your house and this is where you put everything. It was like the natal chart, and like even my dog's birthday, she wanted that to work out the energy and natal charts of everyone. So it was, and she says that. People ask her, are you an interior designer? She's like, no, but things just find their place and they feel good. Okay. Is it really important to wash your crystals and stick them out under the moon and the sun?
I don't wash my crystals because a lot of crystals disintegrate in water. So I never wash it. Maybe you can like spray it with some smudging spray to clear it. I don't put the colored ones in the sun because it's going to damage and lose color. I do put mine out in the full moon. The important part about that is if you are working with a crystal, let's just say you activated one, please help me with my healing. Right? And you're not done healing. You're not done working with it. Don't recharge it. because you're just going to do away with everything that you just did. So if you're working with a crystal, you just hold on to it until you're done with it, and then you can go charge it under the full moon.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, like how long does it take you to take all your crystals out into the full moon? Do you do it every full moon?
Before I used to like carry the box, I used to take the boxes. Now I just take like ones maybe I know that I'm going to be working on this month or something. I know that I do a crystal spell, not a crystal. Well, there's crystals involved, but I do a spell for every new moon.
Are you a witch?
Yeah, you could say that. You could say a unicorn witch, like more of a little bit everything. I don't have like a specific path. I like to believe in everything just in case. Just in case, I don't know, all the gods, goddesses, whoever, saints. Yes.
Yeah. Well, you used to have unicorn colored hair, didn't you?
Yes. I think I'm gonna put it back in a couple of weeks, but I was just trying to like go blonde first. So, you know, the color comes better. It's like a process. Doing your hair is like your business. It's a process.
Well, being Asian, trying to get blonde as well, that's definitely a process.
Yes.
All right, what's next on my list? Tell me a little bit about unicorns, mermaids, and fairies.
Oh, unicorns. So before maybe when I was just first starting out in my business, I actually identified with being a mermaid a lot. So I was always like, I'm a mermaid. And for some reason, I don't like the beach. So I was like, I don't think I'm a mermaid anymore. And so, I let go of the archetype, and the unicorn just kind of stepped up. And this was like right before they became like super famous, in the world. So the unicorns kind of stepped up, and I was like, ooh, cool. Like I really want to work with the unicorns. So I know that I was never a unicorn, but I was friends of the unicorn. So I think I was like the fairies that were friends with the unicorn. So I know that for a fact.
So did unicorns, do they exist, and where do they exist?
So they are in the 5th dimension. So so we're in like the 3rd and 4th dimension right now. They say 3D, 4D. So the 5th dimension is what we're trying to spiral up into. Remember, I was talking about like the collective consciousness, the vibrational, we're rising. So, I mean, we need a lot of work in this world. So to rise up and this is not like 100 years. This is probably thousands of years. But if you can connect to the unicorns, they're just a little bit higher in vibration energy than we are. So that's why if you do get into that meditation, if you get into theta brainwave or gamma brainwave, if you're up there vibrating faster, then that's how you connect to the unicorns.
Okay. Fairies.
Fairies. So fairies is more earth, or they're more like earthy. So if you go out into your garden or someplace like with trees or flowers, and if you just sit very quietly and just like focus, you can keep your eyes open, you might see something like flying by. So the fairies are there, and they're usually very mischievous. And I don't think they're mean. They're never really mean to me, but you want to be careful what you ask fairies. And I wouldn't suggest to ask them for money because you never know what's going to happen, right?
We talk to one to ask for parking spaces all the time.
Oh, yes, parking fairy. So we had one of our client came in, and she was like super new to magic. She was actually very Christian, but she was like open to all of this. And then when she was working with us, her son, who was 2 or 3 at the time, he was like talking to fairies, I think. And so she would like walk out of the room. When she comes back, the whole room would be a mess. And we don't think it was him. We think it was the fairies. So like things were happening to her, and her son when she was working with us. So that was like super cool.
Right. So I know that some people will be listening to this and just going, oh my gosh, you started talking about unicorns, mermaids, and fairies, and just being a little bit skeptical. Like I am totally open to this. But what would you say to these people?
So I think you believe or not. If you want to live a more magical life, then you just learn about it, you try it, you do it. And you'll slowly see things shift. You'll feel the energy, and then you'll be a believer. But if you're dead against them, then don't do it. Like, we don't care. The unicorns don't care. Like, we really don't care if you believe or not.
Yeah. Would you say that you channel stuff? So you just get something like your tarot decks are your brain dump, you're channeling?
Yeah. So channeling. Yes. So Crystal Unicorn maybe took, well, that was really easy because I just turned every human into a unicorn. So that was really easy. The Witchling took me almost 2 years to create, a lot of research, and Owl came in 3 days. So that was like my channel deck, my Owl Tarot, because it just, and like 78 cards came right out. I got the theme, the niche for the deck. I got my proposal. I typed it all up and I sent it in. So that was really fast.
Wow, amazing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, manifesting. You talked a little bit about this, but what are the pitfalls of manifesting and how do we manifest what we want?
So I think we talked a lot about this in the beginning. In order to manifest what you want, you have to be on the same vibrational level as your desires, right? And to be on that vibrational level is your emotion. So feeling as if you were there. And that's why a lot of professional athletes, even the Olympians, they really visualize the whole thing, right? Them running or jumping or playing basketball. And then they go out and take action practicing it so that it's no longer a skill that they have to learn, but it's like habit. If something happens in the game, they immediately do it. And that's how they win. It's because they worked hard for it. And it's because they visualized it. And they were at that moment where they won. So that's what you have to figure out, what that moment is when you get that thing, what it looks like. And some people don't know. So for example, for me, if I was going on a vacation, it's not buying the ticket, right? It's not going on the plane. I don't feel excited yet. It's not landing. And for me, it's checking into the hotel or wherever I'm staying, like putting my bags in. Then I'm like, oh, I'm here. So that's like my final moment. For money, it's looking on my bank account. It's not when I get the email notification. It's not when someone says yes. It's when I look at my bank account. So when you're manifesting, you have to be really, really specific about what that last visual looks like. And what I mean by see again is you're just imagining and you just run it over and over. And you're literally like, you be that person. So if you're already making $1 million, what would you do? Right? And maybe you can't stay at a 5-star hotel, but can you walk in the 5-star hotel pretending like you're a millionaire, right? Sometimes I go to the grocery store and I'm like, oh, I'm a millionaire. Nobody knows it. And I just walk
who you're
around.
Going to be, right?
Yeah. So you have to really be that person. And again, like I said, it's not just 5 minutes a day. Like that's not going to do anything. You have to embody this as much as you can.
So it was when you dropped into the magic of things, your business took off.
It was when I got back to the magic, the crystals, the creating spells. When I got back to that, because I forgot what I was doing before, but when I got back to, that's when like, ooh, okay, like people started to be like, oh, Pamela's a coach. It just kind of like shifted and I was like, oh, and I enjoy doing it. Like I was really happy sharing about crystals and buying crystals.
Yeah. Oh, the shopping side of things would have been fun.
A lot of fun.
So you have told us what you do at the start, but if someone was at a party with you and they're like, oh, what do you do? What do you say? And what's their response?
You know what? It's kind of weird now. I mean, people don't really ask me, but I've had a few people ask me. And when I'm like, I'm a coach for spiritual entrepreneurs, nobody knows what that means.
Yeah.
Or when I'm say like, I'm an author and debt creator, I don't think people knows what that means either. So now I just kind of say, oh, I just work at home helping people build their online business. So like for regular, like, the muggles, the regular people, they don't really understand. And if they want more information, then I'll like share and they get like really curious.
Yeah.
Oh, like, like what's unicorns? What's this? I'll share about it. But if they don't ask me, I usually don't, because those aren't your clients anyway.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Yeah. Most of the time, the people that you meet, like friends or party, that might be your clients, definitely. But most of the time they're probably not. So it's okay if you don't get everyone's approval. It's okay. Like, you know, and the right clients will show up.
Yeah. And what I've noticed about the people who really love what they're doing, like they might say something that's a little bit more superficial, is that we grow up thinking that people don't want to talk about their work, but people who are in this space and really doing what they're passionate about, when you ask a little bit more, they are more than happy to talk about it. And this is how I think you can tell if someone actually really loves their job or not, in how they describe themselves and how willing they are to dig deeper and share more information, because I don't think we can really encapsulate it in just a few words in a title. Yeah.
It's and you know, and this is what we tell our students, like, people outside of this industry is not going to understand you, so don't take advice from them. They don't believe that you can make this money at online coaching, and so don't let them coach you, because they're not making the money online. They're not a business coach. Don't learn from them.
Yeah, learn from other people who have walked the path that you want to go.
Yeah, I think you would like the story, actually. So my boyfriend, so we've been together for like 15 years.
What are you looking over your shoulder?
I'm just making sure. In the beginning when we were together, he thought all of this was like voodoo, devil, cult stuff. And that's like when I was also in the beginning. So I was like really unsure of myself, but I wanted to go to classes, and he wouldn't like talk to me if I went to classes, but I knew that I needed to do this. So I'm like, don't talk to me then. So I didn't change. I didn't want to change him or anything. Even all my psychics, they were like, you're going to break up in 2 years. And I'm like, hey, whatever. Like, I was very open. I'm like, okay, if we break up, whatever, you know? And so, but I didn't try to change him. I didn't tell him about it. I didn't try to convince him. And now he like supports, he like tells people, hey, she does tarot. Like he tells people stuff, and he lets me do like crystal bowls on him. So he's like, he doesn't really believe now, but he shifted with me, but I didn't force it on him.
Isn't it funny? Because some people would be going, oh my gosh, I've got to pay Pamela this much to work with her. Her bloody boyfriend gets to have access to her 24/7, and he's not making the most of it.
He's not and that's the thing, like your friends, and a lot of my friends that are coaches have had this problem with their significant other or their friends. They try to coach their friends, but what happens is your friends don't see you as an expert because they've known you. You're not like they don't think you know. Yeah. So I never coach my friends unless they do ask me, then I'll give them advice, but I never try to like do, you know, this actually.
No. Yeah. I learned that a little way in as well. I don't treat Gav anymore. I'm like, go and see someone at the clinic. Because I just get annoyed. I get annoyed if he's not making progress.
Yes. If they don't do the work, right?
Yeah.
It's free.
Yeah. I think there's got to be a little bit of skin in the game when you're investing in yourself. And this is something that I teach my practitioners who are trying to learn the modality that I teach, is don't go safe and do it on your friends, because they feel like they're doing you a favor. And so the energy is already wrong there. And also they feel like you're telling them things because you know them.
Yes.
Not because you can actually read the body and read into the ailments and the discomforts or the words that they're saying. So go out there and work on people that you don't know. And when you tell them their story back to them and they haven't shared it with you, that's when you both know there's something in this work.
Yeah, I think that's so powerful. And I'm really grateful for my friends though. They've been all really supportive. So if I ever come up with like something like, oh my gosh, I talked to my unicorns today, you know, for the first time, they'll be like, oh, cool. You know, they might not understand it, but they're like, cool, right? Yeah. So I've always had supportive friends, and they never like bug me. I had one friend, and that's why I'm not friends with her anymore, because I would give her the same reading about the same guy every single day. And then when they broke up, because I said they're not whatever, she said that I caused them to break up. So I was like, hey, let's not be friends anymore.
Yeah, you've got this wrong. That's not taking responsibility.
So thankfully though, like now the people that surrounds us understand, like they're just supportive, and they're just, you know, happy that we are doing stuff.
Yeah. So cool. They're probably staying in touch with you as friends because you do have an energy about you. Like, I don't think I've stopped smiling since we got on here today. So I'm happy for these happy vibes.
Yeah, you know what I help them do a lot though is I can help them find stuff. So like remote viewing, I'll like see where their lost key is, and then they always text me for that. So if you need to text me, Jen, you can. But I'll give you like clues. So I can't like actually go and find it for you, but I'll be like, it's by something red, round, or this, and you actually have to go find it. But they're used to it. So now I just help them find stuff.
Oh, that's cool. I do often lose my keys and go a bit crazy.
Oh my God.
Amazing. Is there any last things that you would like to share with us? Or actually, how do people find you?
Oh, okay. So I am on Instagram, Pamela Unicorn. You could just mostly find me Pamela Unicorn on Instagram. I usually do my stories, or I post almost every single day, so you can see what is up in my unicorn life. And yeah, and just, you know, if you're interested in tarot or crystals, go get the book, go get the tarot. It's coming out. It's going to be so much fun. Like, I'm really excited for them. And thank you so much, Jen, for having me on. This was really fun.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing your energy.
Yeah.
Thanks for learning with me on the Art of Listening to Your Body podcast. If you like what you've heard, I would love if you could rate, review, and share with your friends. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. My handle is The Art of Listening to Your Body. If you're interested in working with me, I offer online courses for the general public and trainings for practitioners, therapists, and coaches. I also open limited one-to-one coaching spaces throughout the year. If you would like to find out more, head to my website, drjinong.com.